Wow, it's already been 2 months and it's been quite a ride so far. When I first started this challenge, I was sitting at 81.5 kilograms and now I'm hovering just above 77 kilograms, so I'm pretty happy with that. I am a little bit behind where I thought I would be, but I'm starting to fit into some of my old pants and t-shirts again and it feels pretty darn good. In this update, I want to share with you some of the challenges and surprises that I noticed over the past 2 months. So, let's get right into it. First things first, before you do anything, I implore you to go out there and get yourself a scale if you don't already own one. You should be checking your weight every day to gauge where you stand and to understand the fluctuations in your weight throughout the day, especially in the morning, after meals, and before you go to bed. Before this 3-month challenge, I tried losing weight without a scale and I didn't really have much success because I always felt like I was doing pretty good. I felt light, felt pretty good about myself, and when I would finally make it to the gym to weigh myself, I was nowhere near where I thought I was. Having a scale at home gives you immediate and consistent feedback that you can leverage to keep yourself in the right mindset and head in the right direction. For me, when I see that I've lost weight, it motivates me to stick to my diet. Or if I see that the needle really hasn't moved or is moving in the wrong direction, it tells me that I'm doing something wrong and that I need to adjust my diet. The major challenge that I had was my sprained foot, which put me out of commission for about 2 weeks and is still nagging me to this day. I've been dealing with ankle issues for some time now, and I think the combination of being overweight for an extended period of time, still going all out when I play sports without putting in the necessary time for strengthening and conditioning just exacerbated the issue. Consequently, I haven't been able to work out as much as I would have liked, so I'm not sure I'll be able to attain the physique that I was originally aiming for, but that's okay. Challenges will always exist, and although my physique may not be what I originally set out for, I am losing weight and I am focusing on strengthening my lower body and keeping my ankles healthy. And so, 2 surprising things that came out of this foot situation. The first was implementing knees over toes guys injury proofing exercises, which have had an amazing impact on my ankles and my legs overall. This is something that I'll continue to work on, and I hope that I'll be able to fix my ankles without having to get surgery. Thus far, knees over toes has been working for me, and I highly recommend that you check out his channel to see what this guy is teaching and to see if you can incorporate anything into your own training regimen. The second surprise was that despite not working out as much as I planned to, I'm still losing weight steadily. I haven't gained much muscle mass, but I'm definitely shedding fat and gaining definition in my body and jawline. Also, since I am getting lighter, the burden on my ankles is definitely much lower than they used to be, which may be contributing to their healing despite the amount of walking that I do these days. I also think that since I'm not working out as much, I'm not as hungry as I normally would be, and so I eat less overall. Seeing my weight go down, my ankles improve, and feeling lighter have been a great motivation for me to keep going despite the challenges. So I don't want to gloss over this point because I think it's actually kind of a big deal. There's been a focus in the mainstream media for many decades on exercise being the primary driver of weight loss, and in my experience, it's a bunch of poppycock. Diet seems to be much more important, and by diet I mean what you eat and what you don't eat, and when you eat and how much you eat. Your diet plays a huge role in regulating the hormones in your body that affect weight gain and weight loss, like insulin and glucagon, testosterone and estrogen, and finding the right combination of food for you that will promote the hormones necessary for weight loss, as well as optimizing your eating periods and portions, is extremely important to succeed in losing weight and increasing your overall health. I also believe that it plays a huge role in stabilizing and preserving that weight loss. A quick side note, your mental health and condition throughout the day is just as important as your physical health and condition. If your diet is making you tired and reducing your energy levels, it just feeds into a negative feedback loop that eventually leads downhill. Choosing a diet that keeps your energy levels up is generally better for your mental state. For me, that's the carnivore diet. I feel satiated faster, and I generally don't suffer from food coma. This is not to say that exercise has no effect. On the contrary, muscle building exercises are beneficial as they increase muscle mass, thereby increasing your basal metabolic rate and your ability to burn calories, ceteris paribus. I've been doing exclusively this in the gym because I can't do cardio yet on my weak ankles, and I've been steadily losing weight. Cardio is great exercise for the heart, but it's not the most effective way to lose weight. You certainly can, and if you look at professional swimmers like Michael Phelps, who consumes 10 to 12,000 calories a day, but spends hours in the water, which has the added benefit of superior thermodynamics for weight loss, and he also hits the gym for a few hours a week. That's also why it's not uncommon to see athletes gain weight very quickly after they stop competing if they don't get a handle on their eating habits. All this to say that exercise, in particular cardio, isn't really necessary for weight loss. I think actually it'd be more beneficial to simply introduce more activity into your day-to-day, whether that be walking up a flight of stairs rather than taking the elevator, or biking to work. And also maybe working in a 10 to 15 minute calisthenic muscle building routine into your daily schedule. It's also important to note that exercise releases endorphins and puts you into a more positive state and helps you to persevere when things get tough. The second challenge is related to my diet, but more specifically, my cheat days. I generally stick to the carnivore diet for at least 4 days a week, and I end up cheating 2 to 3 days a week depending on my schedule. Now if I'm being honest, it's not ideal. And it's probably the reason why that I haven't lost as much weight as I thought I would have by now. It's an uphill battle for sure, but I've decided not to be too stressed about it because at the end of the day, I am still losing weight steadily. And I do stick to my 1 meal a day for the most part, which has the added benefit of keeping my energy levels consistent and my head clear throughout the day. Now, full disclosure, I have had a few weekends where I ended up drinking quite a bit more than I expected, and the next day I did have an extra hangover meal, but I regret nothing because my social life is very important to me, especially during these times. The surprising thing is that despite the fact that I've taken more cheat days than I planned, I haven't really gained back the weight in any permanent way, and usually by the next day I'm already at the weight that I was at before the cheat day, which was surprising and great at the same time, but also a fact that I probably shouldn't abuse moving forward. One other thing to note is that I find myself being satiated with less food than before, and I think that has a lot to do with the carnivore diet, which has been working like a charm. This has generally made me feel a lot more comfortable post meals and has even helped with my digestion. This next challenge is something that I alluded to before, and it's regarding mental health and condition. The nature of my work, combined with the stress of the times and my own personal ruminations about my future, can sometimes lead me down a very dark path. These days, it's been pretty rough for a myriad of reasons, including the obvious COVID stuff and all the side effects, and it's starting to get to the point where depression and anger are starting to creep in, at least for me. And when that happens, I lose motivation to do the things that I should be doing, and it sets me back because I fall out of rhythm. This is more of a recent issue because government regulations and people have just been getting out of hand to the point where I'm just like, what the fuck? But I've been here before, so when I get into these ruts, I have my own method of getting out of them, which I've developed through the years. If you're going through something similar, I don't know if these things will work for you, but they do for me, so might as well give them a shot, right? My first thing is to just let all the feelings out, you know? Scream at the top of your lungs. Go ham on a punching bag or your inanimate object of choice, preferably something that won't break any bones. If you're a Christian, turn to God and let all of your frustrations out on Him. If you're not sure what that looks like, I'd probably start with the book of Psalms because there's a bunch of good examples in there. And once it's out, I feel so much better. It feels like a weight has been lifted and I can finally start to heal. Meditation or prayer is a powerful tool. I'm not going to go through it in detail, but it takes time to cultivate this ability, and it helps me to get back to neutral and to change my perspective from this is good or this is bad, I deserve this, I deserve that, to this is just something that happened, and it's up to you to focus on the things that you can do. If I were to sum up meditation in one word, for me, it'd be acceptance. Accepting life as the collection of experiences, both joyful and painful that it is. Accepting that control is an illusion and that the only things that I have any measure of control over are my attitude, my words, and my behavior. For Christians, studying the Bible has been extremely beneficial for me. There's so much wisdom in that book, and depending on when you read it, you'll learn different things from the exact same passages. Next is to just do it. Whether you're thinking about exercising, creating a new video, or you just need to make a phone call, as soon as you have the thought, start. If I think about exercise, I'll immediately put on my workout gear and leave the house. If I think about editing a new video, I'll open up Final Cut Pro on my computer, start a new project, and start importing files. Like momentum, as soon as you get the ball rolling, it gets a lot easier to continue. And after you finish, you have a sense of completion and achievement, and it gets you into a positive mindset. Also, get out of your house. Your house is your safe space where you feel comfortable, and it's easy to get lazy, especially if your place isn't that big. When you get out of the house, you get sunlight, which stimulates your brain, fresh air that fills your body, and because you're moving, your blood starts to flow and you'll feel so much more alive. I also want to mention that I end all of my showers with 2 to 3 minutes of cold water, which shocks the system and wakes me up pretty good, and it's just something that I always do now. Overall, I've been pretty good at keeping my spirits up and staying productive. It usually takes me less than a day to snap out of it. However, recently there was a 3-day stretch where I got some news that kind of bummed me out, and that really sucked, but I went through my process and I got back to neutral, and I used these strategies, and that's pretty much all you can do. The last thing I want to go over is something that surprised me. The fact that my 48-hour fast wasn't nearly as hard as it used to be. And I've been thinking about this, and I think that these are some of the factors at play. I already fast 23 hours a day, so once you get past that 24-hour hump, it's really not that hard to keep on going. I kept myself busy and out of the house as much as possible. I started taking magnesium on a daily basis, which improved my energy levels, and I exercised each day of the fast, which may have improved my mood and also helped me to sleep better. And I started my fast at 5 p.m. rather than at night, reducing the number of hours upon waking on the last day before I would be able to eat. I actually just finished my second 48-hour fast right now, and I gotta tell you, I kept things mostly the same, and again, it was pretty painless. For the last fast, I'm gonna push myself a little bit further and try to make it to 72 hours without food. Now, I'm gonna keep things mostly the same, except I'm gonna push the start time to a little bit earlier in the day at 1 p.m. and we'll see how that goes. So, after 2 months, that's where I'm at, and I'm pleased with the progress that I made so far. I still got some time to hit my target weight, and I plan on being a little more strict in terms of my diet and exercise regimen during the last month. I hope that this has been helpful to you in some small way. It's definitely been an eye-opener for me. Making this content for this channel has been a great motivator, and I thank you all for your support during this time. I'll see you again soon. Peace.
Korean